Networking and marketing made simple is for you, the business owner that has a product, service, or message that you truly believe in. My name is Scott Aaron, and each week we'll take a behind-the-scenes look at real-world networking and marketing tactics while leveraging LinkedIn to get what you have in front of many more people. Thanks for spending time with me, and let's get started. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another interview episode of Networking and Marketing Made Simple. Super excited for today's episode, obviously, for a number of reasons. Number one, obviously, it's another great interview, so you're going to be meeting an unbelievable entrepreneur out there. But also, as you guys all know, Nancy and I believe in increasing our revenues in our business, working smarter and not harder. And there are ways of doing that, whether it's through your marketing efforts, whether it's through your social media efforts, your lead gen efforts. So we're going to talk about all that and more. With me today is Neil Ateem. He is the founder of Multiplier Agency, and obviously he is the owner of a marketing agency that specializes in helping companies achieve substantial revenue growth, which obviously is what we are all seeking, and that's why we're in business. So with that behind us, Neil, welcome to today's episode.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So before we dive into Multiplier Agency and everything that you're doing to help these companies, grow substantially, let's rewind the tape before we go forward. So if you could rewind your business journey and press stop at a point in time where you really feel that was kind of like the jumping off moment for you, or the parting of the Red Sea moment, or that aha moment that really led you and gave you the idea not only for Multiplier Agency, but everything that you're doing now into the future. What was that moment for you?
So the funny thing is, with my journey, I have been on the other side, which is I have been an employee for 8 years. I worked in the corporate world and have a lot of experience there. So internally working within big organizations, talking about billion-dollar oil and gas company to personal growth company doing 100 million now. I get to see how businesses operate internally, specifically within their marketing departments. And I see the need for what I'm actually delivering now. And I think for me, it clicked there when I left the corporate world. I knew that I'm onto something, that whatever service I deliver, it's going to pick up because I know from working with these companies inside, like what is actually needed, right? Now, to be more specific, it's like you have your marketing departments and your teams and whatever. However, the innovation is not as fast. The speed is not as fast. Like the ideation is not as fast. And I knew that if I can place myself outside of that and actually move fast, learn quickly, try things, test, I would have a competitive advantage, one, and I'd have the ability to apply things that I know is working in current really quickly. And this is exactly what I do now because of the fact working with an agency, I get to plug myself into many different companies in different niches, different areas, and I get to see exactly what they're doing. I can apply these learnings across the board really quickly, and they're spending all the money, they're doing all the testing and all that, and I can just apply it across the board. So it's a really interesting place to be. But to me, it was that moment where I saw internally the pains felt. So I know if I can solve this pain point, which is exactly what I do now, I would have a thriving business out of that.
So with that 8 years of experience working in the corporate world, working for someone else, because I always like asking this question to follow up, because not everyone jumps into entrepreneurship right away. There's a little bit of a journey they need to go on. Looking back on your time in the corporate world, is there something that you learned either from, the company that you partnered with, the person that you directly connected with or looked up to, and, what was that big learning lesson from that experience that obviously you've been able to parlay that into Multiplier agency and, obviously grow it from there?
Yeah. So this was something my former boss actually, well, he was CEO of the company. His name is Vishen Lakiani, CEO of Mindvalley. Um, Huge guy out there now in the world, but he always instilled this thing in us, which is while we're there working for him, most likely it's going to be temporary, and there's things that we want to do. So we should maximize on everything that we have here internally within the company, all the resources, using him, learning from him, all of this. And from the get-go, that was the mindset that I had because he instilled this. Because the thing about most of us at that company, we were all entrepreneurial at some point in our lives, and it was like some kind of requirement getting into the company in the first place, you know? So we were all self-starters. We had this within us already, and we used it as a springboard. Like almost everyone I know who left, resigned. They have their own business now. They're thriving, doing really well. They're authors, speakers, they all turned out to be entrepreneurs because it was instilled in us this entrepreneurial spirit and mindset. And while we were there working on him, helping him build this vision, his company, we were also taking those learnings and knowing that we would go forward to do our own thing. So that's really interesting because most companies or CEOs, they don't do this, right? They train you to keep you. But it was quite the opposite. So that was a huge plus.
So having that experience and obviously knowing what you know now, in taking a 10,000-foot view of where companies are struggling or business owners are struggling with building substantial revenue growth, what are some of the big problems or mistakes that you see either newer business owners or even seasoned business owners that are making that are causing things to either stagnate or even go backwards instead of increase?
Yeah. So one of the major things is they get so fixated on having a final finished product that it just holds them back, right? Because, okay, depending on the niche, of course, but you always want to be innovating, coming up with new products, new offers, etc. So in this instance, what I see with a lot of businesses where they fall short is that they want this final finished polished product. However, there's methods to actually generating revenue using that to then create your product. Like for example, waitlist, pre-sale. Like for example, when Elon Musk wanted to create Teslas and stuff, what he did is he had a pre-sale, and then you can opt in at this special rate, put down your deposit, and he used that money to actually go about. And that could be applied to almost any business. If you're creating a course, which I did for one of my clients, they were able to generate 100K before the product was ready, just by having this waitlist strategy, getting people to invest. If it's something people really want, they would put down their money, and you can use that to actually do the product development, right? So that's one thing. They wait until they have that final perfect product. And then sometimes this can take years, months or even years. Like that's a reality. Huge investment. And they think this is the best thing ever. But when it actually goes to market, it's a flop, So that's one thing. The other thing, as I mentioned before, is the rate of innovation internally within a department. There's unless this is a really special case, what happens is people tend to fall into these grooves, so the squares and the circles, and they fit into that. And that doesn't leave enough wiggle room for innovation and rapid testing and actually going outside the box. Because if something is working, like let's say they optimize on Google Ads and they're drilling down on this, but they get so comfortable with this one thing that anything else outside of that, like let's say organic or SEO or meta ads, something like that, they'll be slow to actually move with these other things, compared to a company that is more startup environment, like they would be willing to try anything and move fast and break things, as they say. So the speed of execution and testing is not that fast, right? That's the second one. And the third one I would say is being ahead of the curve, like I like to say I get to be at the tip of the spear. Like there's a spear tip and then there's the tip of the spear. I get to be there because of the amount of companies that I get to interact with on a week-to-week basis, CEOs I talk to every day, and I get to know what they're thinking, what they're testing, what they're spending money on. And I know, okay, is this working? Is this not working? So they're doing all the spending using their resources, and I get all the learnings, and I get to apply that to any of my clients if they want to go down that route, if the case applies to them. So yeah, I think these are three things that I can think about top of mind.
Awesome. So, with what you do um, at your agency, obviously there's a lot of important things that, need to be taken into consideration, when you are working on, helping people multiply their revenue and all of those things. What would you say really makes your agency stand out from others? Because as you know, there's tons of businesses out there, and we're always looking not to compete, not to compare, but to have specific differentiating factors that really kind of separate ourselves from other people in our space. What would you say makes your agency different from others out there in the same space that you're in?
Yeah. So one of the major things I would say is that we're not huge. We're a very lean team distributed across the world, and we're highly specialized. Each and every one of my team members are highly sought after, and they decide to work with me together. They have extensive experience and everything. But what I would say is the key differentiator is that we focus on generating revenue. Now, marketing agencies out there will tell you they do SEO, they do ads, all of this. We come in to scale revenue. And how we do that, maybe ads, maybe SEO, maybe content marketing, etc. But our main North Star is scaling revenue. Like that is what we do. So that for one is the main thing. The second thing I would say is how we operate. Because we're small, because we're lean, I don't care to have 100 customers at any point in time. Like if I have five, that's already too much, So I try to keep it below that and give them proper attention, help them scale, and have partnerships because I do this and it doesn't feel like work to me. I love marketing. I love scaling companies. I like learning more than anything, and every day when I get to jump into meetings and stuff, it's like, yes, working together collaboratively. It doesn't feel like that's a client and I'm an agency, It feels like I'm plugged in there and we're building this thing together. So yeah, I like this more bespoke approach because that's one of the reasons why we haven't really gone super deep into like a specific niche and all of this because that's super scalable, right? I can say, okay, I only help course creators online, and that's my offer. Building a funnel for them, a webinar funnel, let's say. I can, infinitely scale that, but that's not what I want to do because it just doesn't appeal to me. I like to wake up and enjoy what I do every day, and that's I think one thing that has really helped us since the beginning, and we've been doing really well. We did really well, and this is really working for us because it's more than just, yes, every business wants to scale their revenue. So for me personally, this business is my vehicle that I get to learn, I get to enjoy, I get to connect with people and CEOs and really amazing people across the world doing amazing things. And yeah, it's part of the process of enjoying mix our offers and working with us so unique.
So as marketing continues to evolve, just like with a lot of aspects of business, whether it's AI and everything else that's going on, what are some of the new marketing strategies and tactics that you've kind of seen and have adopted, not just for yourself, for your business, but the others that you're working with that you've seen significant, I would say, positive returns on those efforts?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things which I have to work extensively on in my career is uh, going from transactional revenue, which is like one-time payments in any business, to subscription revenue. So at my previous company, I was head of subscriptions and I was responsible for transitioning the company from transactional to subscription revenue. So cutting down from over 3 dozen products to one single product via subscription, right? And this can be applied to most businesses out there. If you think about it, every business wants to be a subscription business. For example, you can look at, let's say, Spotify, it's a subscription. Netflix is a subscription. Apple is a subscription, and people don't even realize it. They may think, oh, I buy my phone, I buy my laptop, and that's it. It's a one-time purchase, but it's not because every couple of years you have to upgrade. So you become a lifetime customer of Apple, and you essentially become a subscriber because every couple years you're going to be spending money updating your devices and stuff. You may have subscriptions in there as well, like iCloud, Apple Music, etc. But the biggest companies in the world are subscription companies where their customers keep paying, keep paying, keep paying. Even if you're just a little coffee shop on the corner, um, you want people coming there every day, right? So they're essentially somehow subscribers to your coffee shop. So I think that is one of the major things there is just making that transition, and most businesses they focus on, oh, how can I acquire a customer and everything, and which is good. Acquisition is really good, but I say not only focus on that, it's you focus on their lifetime value, right? So there's a customer acquisition and there's a customer lifetime value, and the lifetime value is where you get to maximize and keep adding value to them, and in return they keep spending money with you.
Yeah, you're seeing a big shift, and my wife and I were actually talking about this the other day. There when COVID hit, there was this big surge of high ticket sales, meaning people, selling very large ticket, whether it's courses or programs or masterminds. And yes, we have courses, we have memberships, we have a mastermind, but we were also very cognizant of not only people's buying habits, but also the investments that they are looking to make. And the fact of the matter is that we want the ROI so great when someone works with us in whatever capacity that it's a no-brainer for them to want to stay in the program or continue. Like, just to give you an idea, we have a mastermind where there's 10 seats available 3 times a year. It sells out every single time for the last 4 years. And then there's also a renewal option for those that are exiting the program. And on average, we have around a 65 to 75% retention rate from year one to year two. And from year two to year three, the retention rate is almost about the same. So now we're seeing these groups organically grow because people see such value, not only in the continued investment because it's given them that positive ROI, but they want to stay in it. And to your point, I am seeing a big shift in lower ticket or subscription or SaaS type of models where you're seeing a lot of community building, where you can serve one to many instead of one to one, where you can easily, I don't want to say more easily, but it's clearer about how you can kind of grow and scale, because I think everyone wants, consistent reoccurring revenue, because when you have consistent reoccurring revenue, you're not chasing the next sale. But also when you have that reoccurring revenue, it's predictive of what's going to be coming in. So then you can make the necessary and right investments back into the business to continue to grow it. So what is your opinion on just that, where you're seeing, I don't want to say a steady decline, but you are seeing a significant decrease or hesitancy of people wanting to make those large 35 and 45 and $55,000 investments into a large mastermind, and they're more keen to staying maybe into that $5,000 to $15,000 range for, a group coaching or online mastermind, and even lower doing more membership. So what are you seeing in regards to those two trends?
Yeah. So you're absolutely right on the fact that people are opting into the lower ones and stuff because there's much more to it. When you have community and stuff instead of one-on-one, well, in this niche specifically, there's a lot of value add there because you have someone or multiple people on the same journey as you. You get to connect with them and everything compared to like in your instance, maybe working one-on-one with you or your team, so it adds more value there that is not really seen directly by you, the person creating the offer, but felt by the person receiving the value there, right? Now, in addition to that, the investment, obviously, as you go higher, you have less people, right? And like you said, you do 10, 3 times per year. However, if you go lower, which people are opting more into, you basically get to expand on that, so you go more long tail this way, which can work perfectly for your business because you can still have a higher ticket product, right? Like that's the thing with increasing your customer lifetime value. You can have something lower still give tremendous value, but there will always be people who want to go deeper, who may want one-on-one access with you or coaching, etc. And that way you can still have your, super high ticket for those who really, really want to go that way. So basically, by having something that is more accessible, let's call it, they get a taste. They get to see what it's like working with you, or the value they can get in this community or offer coaching, whatever it may be. And from there, they may want to actually go deeper, right? So it basically makes it more accessible to you. Now, one thing I want to point out is that there's a delicate balance between transactional revenue and recurring revenue. Like you said, one of the major things with recurring revenue is the predictability. Once you have your churn rate and everything, you have an idea of how much money is going to come in. If it's a monthly, if it's an annually, you know, a ballpark range at least. Now, the thing about transactional revenue is that that has a certain level of predictability for most mature businesses as well. So you may sell X amount of units every month, and it's good to have that money coming in on a monthly basis if you have something like an annual subscription. So it's like finding that balance is really good. I'm not saying get rid of the transactional stuff, but you need to find that delicate balance between managing them both if you have them set up like that within your situation. Yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit about Multiplier Agency. So, someone that's listening to this that has their interest piqued in, how you work with people and the companies that you work with. So, two-pronged question. First, who are the best clients for you to work with and serve to help them substantially increase their company's revenue? And second to that, if someone is interested, if they're a good fit for what you do, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah. So I would say our ideal client right now, like I said, we do go a bit wide and we're not super niche, but where most of our experience lies is in digital products, online platforms, so online courses, communities, high ticket. This type of businesses we do really well with. Like we have quite a bit of case studies and big clients that we've worked with. Like I'm ex Mindvalley, so I grew their subscription from 0 to 20 million per year. Now that does 100 million. Uh, did a launch for Jordan Peterson a while back, worked with coaching.com. And the thing is, we work with bigger platforms, like a company doing 50 million plus right now. We're consulting and helping them scale on cold and ads to scale them up to 100 million per year. And so, yeah, like I said, it goes a little bit wide, but the main thing is, as long as I see there's potential and I can actually help this company scale, I will take them on as a client. That's a reality. And yeah, how do you get in touch? Multiplier.agency, that's our website. You just need to go in there, fill out a little form with some details on your business, and then you can proceed to book a call with us if you fit the bill to work with us. Yeah, and we work with companies generally doing like 6 figures up. If you're in the scale up slash startup phase and you want to go to market, we can actually find a way to work together as well. We have had clients that came to us, they're in the product development phase and they wanted to get a go-to-market strategy. They wanted to actually launch, and we find creative ways to get things like this going. For example, we had a startup who wanted to do an event before they launched their platform. And we got like 25,000 people signing up across the world. We had speakers like from Brian Tracy go all the way back, and this was executed in like 2 to 3 months. Usually it takes 1 year to execute an event, but because we have the experience, we have the processes laid out already, we can move very fast, which I said in the beginning is one of the things that makes us stand out. We're very, very fast. Yeah.
Amazing. So, all the information about how to connect with Neil, his company, will be in the show notes, the description of the episode, and obviously the email that goes out to let you guys know about this episode. So, Neil, I just want to say thank you again for being here today, sharing your wisdom and your knowledge. And I know this is going to impact so many people in so many ways. But before we sign off, one final question. What does success truly mean to you?
So one of the core things I have as a value in terms of me personally and in business is I work with what is called humanity plus companies, and this is companies that actually deliver value to people out there. whether it's health, whether it's wellness, whether it's career, personal growth, whatever it may be, as long as it's bringing value to people's life. And to me, that is every day what I get to do, and the companies that I choose to work with. So for me, that is my view of what success and fulfillment is. Of course, making the money, scaling the business, all of this is really good, but I must feel good doing it. And it must never feel like, am I doing, so putting something out into the world and growing something that I know is causing harm, or, destroying people's health, or whatever it may be that is negative towards people. So yeah, I think Humanity Plus is the filter for me in what I do, and keeps me happy every day with what I do.
Listen, I always tell people, when you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life, and I truly want that for every single person, and I know you do too. And I know that much like myself and my wife, you run your business the same way, with a heart of service, really wanting to help people achieve substantial results and success, because then everybody wins. And I think that's just a very admirable trait for you and the company that you're running. And again, just want to thank you again for being here today.
Thank you so much, Scott. And yeah, happy to bring value. I hope everyone enjoys the episode and extracts a lot of value from it.
Absolutely. So again, anyone listening or watching, please don't hesitate to reach out to Neil. All his contact and company info will be in the description, the show notes, and the email that goes out about this episode. And as always, please do support the podcast wherever you're listening to and from, whether it be Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Please leave us a rating and review. Let us know what you loved and what you would love to hear more of. So everyone, please enjoy the rest of your days. Love and gratitude, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you so much for checking out today's episode. If you could, please support this podcast by hopping over to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or any place that you're listening to this. Leave us a rating and review. Let us know what you loved most and what you would like to hear more of. But also, if you would like to learn how to take your business to the next level, whether it's using LinkedIn or working directly with myself and Nancy in our intimate group coaching programs, you can head over to www.thetimetogrowth.com or scottaaron.net to learn more. Thank you again for your support, love and gratitude, and I'll talk to you soon.